This is Handle the Shit, the podcast where septic gets strategic and business gets real. I'm Tanya Wilson, CEO of Homefield East Valley, and me and my crew are here to help you run a business that doesn't run you. We're not guessing, we're in it. Grit, mistakes, wins, real shit from the field and the office. The stuff no one tells you about, but all the things you need. It's not just theory, it's not just hype, it's just what works. Are you ready to build the septic business of your dreams? Welcome to Handle the Shit podcast. Hey everybody, welcome back to Handle the Shit. We are so excited to be back here today. I have my lovely marketing guru, Heidi Hooker, here with me. Thank you for being here, Heidi.
Of course. Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely. So today we want to talk to you about your team, and we want to talk to you about why your team is your brand. Why your brand isn't just the logo. And many times we get hung up on, oh, the colors and it's pretty, or it looks like this, or it doesn't look like this. That's not really what people are going to remember unless you're like Nike status or something like this. Then you need to really think about that, what that little watermark looks like on the bottom of everything. But yes, a clean logo does look very nice and professional, but what looks more professional and makes you look more legit in your field is actually how you are represented by your team. So, what I'd love to really dive into today, Heidi, and we can go back and forth with this and just kind of spit back and forth on like what it is that we do inside of Homefield East Valley here to really make our team shine and really represent us as a brand. So I know some of the things that we really focus on and we talk about a lot on this podcast is letting people know who the people are on our team. So, as the marketing person, how do you really implement that goal that we have inside of the business?
Well, like you said, you have your logo, you have the colors, you want things to be polished. But as we know, and especially in septic, it's not always, what am I trying to say? I guess it's not always rainbows and sunshine. Sometimes it's shit. It's hard work out there. And I really think it's a matter of, letting people know who we are, not only as, this is, for example, this is Tanya. She's our CEO. She's our owner. Yes, that's true. But what does she do when she doesn't work? We know that it's hard for her to do other things besides work, but we want to really, get to know them as individuals. That's like for us, it's so different. When I came in for the interview, you always say, like, tell me about you. And people always start off with, this is what I have for work experience. You're like, no, like, tell me about you. What are your hobbies? What do you like to do? And I think for us as a brand, it makes it so much better when you can actually say, this is, Justin, and he has 3 kids. It makes it more
Mhm.
relatable, and there's things that you can talk about on the jobs with the customers. And again, people don't just want to buy from you because you have a pretty logo and you have nice colors. I want to relate to you. I want to understand what you're doing. I'm a homeowner. You're coming into my home and I don't know necessarily who you are. And that would make me feel a little uncomfortable, I guess, as a woman, having some guy coming in, not really sure who he is. But if we can portray and like say, these are who our people are, they're just everyday hardworking people like you, it makes us so much more relatable.
Absolutely. And like, it's so cool, even when people come into our office, sometimes people will come in to pay a deposit for an installation or come in to bring plans for an install job that we're doing. And the second they walk in, they're like, oh, Lauren, like they know who she is because we have continued to let her show up in so many different areas. We list our people out on our website and we tell everybody what they do. It's really awesome to be a part of that. So if you Google any of the people that work for us, like our website pages are going to pull up. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You are so great at it's so and so's birth. Today's Twyla's birthday. So it's like, it's Twyla's birthday. Everybody help us celebrate her, Um, or it's Heidi's work anniversary, or it's Heidi's birthday, or it's Father's Day, and these are the dads that work in our office. I just think it's really, really great that we celebrate not only the people inside of here, because it makes everybody that works here get the warm and fuzzies. They're not just a number; they're actually a name and a face, and we love and appreciate them here. But it's also a really, really great recruiting tool for when we put ads out and we say, we really care about the people that work here. Like they really are part of a big team, an amazing powerhouse team. And a lot of times when people come into interview with a septic company, they're like, yeah, sure. I'm sure you are. But we actually put that out into the world with what's coming out of our mouth, we can back it up because, as the kids say, we have receipts for what we're saying that we're doing for shit, because we actually do that. How many times have we've been sitting in interviews and people are like, oh, I looked at your Instagram and it was so great. Like, I feel
Yep.
like I know the people that already work here.
And I think that's a cool tool to have too is, you go on, you're trying to apply for somewhere. And I mean, some people, they apply to places and it's just a job. It's just to get them here to there. But a lot of people, what we're looking for is we're looking for people to stay. We're looking for long term. So I think in having that to where you can actually say, oh, hey, I looked at your website or I looked at your social, like you said, and they know who the people are and they're like, "Oh, these people have been here some time." And they're also gonna probably put that mindset into there that this is somewhere that I could actually have a career, a future at, not just gonna job hop.
Sure. I mean, even this podcast, like this is us putting people that work on our team out into the world saying, this is who Homefield East Valley is. This is what the Homefield franchise team brand represents. These are the people. Like, if you're wanting to get into septic and you're like, oh, I don't know, because nobody will really help me, it's not an industry. Anywhere that I found in bootstrapping 3 of these suckers, that you're gonna find somebody that will be like, "Sure, I'll mentor you. I'll help you. I'll give you some information on how to get your septic business started." It's one of those
Right.
things, like, even if you go online and start looking shit up, you can't find anything. Like, I don't know what kind of licenses I need. I don't know what I need for this. But being part of this home field franchise network, if that's something that you're wanting to get into as a septic field, which is a gold mine, by the way, because wastewater is going nowhere. You can see from what we're demonstrating, even here in East Valley, we have a podcast. We put people that are on our team on the podcast. The people on our team are helping educate future septic company owners or future partners with Homefield on how to run their business and how to show up the best way to have the best team to build the biggest brand.
And I think if you're gonna, like you said, do something with, coming into the franchise, you wanna know that you have the support of actual people who give a damn about you versus, some people in their suit and tie and they're corporate and they're very by the books in this. Yes, we have a system and protocols on how we do things, but we give a shit about each other. If one of us
Yeah.
is having something going on, we can feel safe enough to come to you and talk, hey, this is what's going on, and you give us advice, a great hug, whatever we might need, that support is there.
Yeah. And it's so important that as you're building the culture of your company, as the leaders in the business, you're the one that sets the tone inside of your company. We've all worked places before where we're like, the owner or the CEO is kind of a dick. And so everybody kind of gets that
We've all
kind
had
of
that,
dick
yep.
mentality, of they're like, well, he doesn't care or she doesn't care, so why should I care? And especially in a business that
Exactly.
can be as difficult as what this one is, caring is everything. It's absolutely everything. And I think that shows up a lot, not only for the people we're wanting to attract or the team we already have in building the brand and making them an integral part of that, but also for potential customers coming in. If they look at us online, they're like, oh my gosh. First of all, we're light years ahead of everybody else when it comes to education and putting material out into the world. Like, light years. Have you seen a septic
Yeah.
business that has as much stuff on their webs? I can think of a couple of them, but they're like big conglomerate ones on the East Coast. Have you seen any?
Otherwise, no. No, you nailed those on the head when you said those couple, but otherwise, no one is wanting to. I don't know if it's not wanting to or not having, the people that actually care or put their heart into what they're doing, wanting to take the time to put these materials together because, like I said, it's some people, it's just a job. We're just going to do this, this, and this, get through our day. That's all we need. When it's so much more than that. If you hate what you do, it's going to reflect on your business so bad, not only as an owner, but you're going to go through people left and right. You're not going to portray that it's a good place to work. Customers are going to kind of sense that weird vibe, like, I guess I'll use them because they're the only ones around. Well, when you're in a market, especially where you do have a couple of choices, you want to be that top choice.
Yes. And that's reflective, obviously, through the reviews. That's how a lot of people are finding their service companies. Even if they're recommended by their neighbors or people that they know, like, and trust, they'll still go online and read reviews and see what other people had to say about you. This is where the consistency and the authenticity of the guys in the field, the people answering the phones, people that come out to provide estimates, even the way that we are showing up through our digital assets. This is the reputation that you're building. Your reputation is your brand. It's not a logo. And there's so many things that go into the reputation. So if you really start thinking of what does my brand look like? And you're like, well, I have a pretty logo, you really need to change that verbiage. Brand is reputation. What does my reputation look like? What do I do to defend my reputation? What do I do to improve my reputation? What do I do to consistently show up to build a greater reputation?
Right.
There's so much to that, just so much to that. So, if you were gonna give somebody a tip, Heidi, they're listening to this, they have a septic company, and they're like, "Huh, that's interesting. I never really thought of it that way." Like, where would they start if they want to improve their brand/reputation?
First thing is always gonna be social media. Some people hate it. You gotta do it, and as we've talked about in previous episodes, you have to be consistent in posting it,
Mhm.
but I think the biggest thing is, alright, you got your logo, you got your colors, you're making everything pretty, whatever that is, okay, that's great, but let's start showing behind the scenes. Let's feature some people. I mean, pick, say, 3 posts a week. Let's keep it simple, 3 a week. One of those days, focus on one of the texts, have them fill out a little questionnaire. What's your favorite food? What's your favorite movie? What do you do when you're not working? And so many times, like I've done a post on Isaac about how much he loves cars,
Mhm.
and he had a job that it was a very bad situation for this homeowner. And him being able to kind of say, "Hey, I heard you like cars, but I see you have all these in your garage." It's a shitty situation with what happened, no pun intended, but this guy was able to, talk with Isaac and kinda, disassociate from this horrible situation that was going on with his home, and he was able to get to know Isaac. We got an amazing review from him, and most likely, as long as he's on Septic, a lifelong customer. So, again, just start somewhere and feature your people.
Yes, and feature your customers too. That's a
That
good one.
too. Testimonial
Really, for
Tuesday is
sure.
always great.
Yep. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And that reputation, you wanna promote that reputation. Don't be crazy about that. I've actually been even thinking about doing education moments as, like, the owner of the business. We'll talk about this in our marketing meeting, but Imma throw it out here too to just get kind of people thinking. Like, even the one-star reviews that we've gotten, I want to make a little video and dive into some of those and be like, "Look, these are the shitty one-star reviews that we've had." In fact, we'll do a podcast episode on this too. But, like, these are the shitty one-star reviews that we've received, and yes, they're shitty. Everybody thinks they're shitty, but they're also a great educational tool. What did we mess up on this one? Was it actually a customer that was just a little off their rocker? Like, did we try to make them happy? What did we learn from this? Have we been able to not have the same mistake happen again? There's a lot of things to learn about that stuff. But even in those, like, crappy reviews that you get, it is an opportunity for you when I say defend your reputation to be able to defend your reputation and not in an argumentative way, but in an educational way and an acceptance of, yes, we may have been at fault at this. Yes, we were late and we apologize and we're working constantly to make sure that does not happen. However, and then you can go into the educational piece for it. Very rarely do we ever get reviews where the reputation needs to be defended of like, the guy came out here and he was a jerk because we don't hire people like that.
Exactly, and the one that we did get, and you know which one I'm talking about, he called one of our texts out, and it was obviously just nonsense, not true, it didn't even make sense, but mama bear came out there, like, that's where you know you've got a good place, a good work vibe, a good culture, that we have each other's backs because, putting false information out like that is not good for our reputation, but when we know it's not true, it also kind of, makes that customer realize, well, I guess I was being a dick and this isn't true. So he did pull that down. It wasn't necessarily our, goal to get him to pull it down, but it was the goal in defending that reputation and, just making sure that we could show that we handle that in a professional way and letting people know that this is not, ever going to happen. This is not true.
Yeah, absolutely. And that starts with hiring good people where you know that you can have their back.
Yep.
I know that my guys are not gonna go out and start cussing up a guy the way that this review had stated he had done so. So it's very simple to quickly, have a conversation with the technician and then create that safe place for them to be able to say, you know what, this is what really happened, and then be honest about it and not feel like, oh shit, I'm going to lose my job if I actually tell you what happened, even if it is a shitty situation. Um, and then you can handle it. And if you handle it right away, I mean, that's really the reason why I think he ended up taking it down. It was in the heat of the moment of what it was. And the second that you call him out on the misbehavior of the review, the misrepresentation of the review, they're still in that heat of the moment too, and they can process some stuff and get things taken care of.
Right.
So definitely, definitely very important. There's so many different ways that you can build your brand. There's so many different ways that you can show up for your team, show up on social media. I just did a presentation at the mega conference in Ohio. When was that? A couple weeks ago. And Kim and I were in the room doing this presentation, and we were asking people, how many of you show up on social media? And there was a room of, I would say, about 40 women that were in there. Two raised their hands. And we were like, oh my gosh,
Wow.
first of all, it's free. So definitely do that. And second of all, like this, you're missing one of the biggest opportunities to build your brand and to recruit new people into your company. And even if you just do it thinking those two things right there, and the third one, you want to educate them because you want them to know that you're an expert in your field. Focus on those three things. That's all you need to focus on and make sure that you're consistent in posting. You will see that brand evolve. And then when somebody Googles you, it's not even necessarily like when you are dominating through so many social media platforms and through organic reaches on the internet, you don't have to spend as much money on all of these paid lead aggregators or paid lead auction sites because you're already showing up as a reputable company.
Definitely.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Heidi. And I hope everybody learned a little something today that you can take back to your team and start implementing right away. And until next time, keep handling the shit. You've been listening to Handle the Shit, powered by Homefield East Valley. We're here to lead, to build, and to show the world that septic pros don't just clean up messes, we run shit. If this hit home, share it with someone in the field. Leave us a review or just get back out there and handle yours. Stay gritty, stay growing. Tune back in next week for another amazing episode and keep handling the shit.